Yeah, I know. 6 more weeks of school time left for me, and instead of using that time to get my math and English grades up from D's to C's so I can get that scholarship Mavi wants, what am I doing? Hanging out in the school bathroom again, and no, not for any hormone Keyblade Master related shady shit reasons. I had a few reasons this time. Besides the return of the dreaded shapes in geometry, our substitute teacher today is Duel Taku, and he's still kinda mad at me because I claim that he's wider than me. And between me, my virginity, and Duel Taku, I know one of these things are gonna get destroyed if I go back to math class, So yeah, I've been swapping avatars all day in the sink, and it was getting quite boring, and then all of a sudden I ended up becoming... Ta-da! A Persona girl! It's probably from all the brainwashing from Ash. Not implying it's a bad thing, of course. I'm a very submissive boy when it comes to... But after I gained yet another new waifu, I ended up coming across something very disturbing. Kainu's video on Sean S. and Sonic Ward is gone. And in its place is this video on Eno. So I had to forcibly chuck that out of the bathroom, only to find this video right behind it. And since math class won't be over for another 40 minutes, I decided I'm gonna do this to pass the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the context for my target. See, a commentator named SpaceGuru5 made a video on a user named Kainu, who made a rant on the slideshow commentary community. That's the commentary community I'm in, the one with the many avatar pics of random characters, you know. Got that down? Good. Let's begin.
Now when you hear the name slideshow commentary, what do you think of?
I think of every single person who's ever criticized the CC who uses that term as a pejorative, even though some of them made cutaways and used still images as their avatars, just like the community they criticize for doing the same thing. But that's just me.
Breaking news! Local man literally does absolutely nothing and still manages to annoy a lunatic. That being said, I actually am curious. The purpose of this interjection is... I mean, we both know Kainu does absolutely none of this in his video, so you can't be attributing this to his video. Does this random line serve an outside purpose? I mean, it isn't like you make that clear or anything, because this interjection literally just exists to say, remember the 90s, kids! I could imagine if maybe this video was intended to talk about the tropes of all CC rants, but it isn't. So, this point is both pointless and confusing.
If you thought of looking at still images over a maybe animated, maybe not background sometimes while someone essentially pauses a video and talks, congratulations, you've just guessed how 99% of these videos play out.
Go fuck yourself.
Said images are usually from TV shows, movies, and anime. Disgusting.
Oh goody, another person who thinks pointing out the prevalence of anime avatars in the so-called slideshow CC is a legitimate reason why the community is awful. I hope this is McDonald's, cause I'm fucking loving it.
Nah, bitch, it's Taco Bell, where the service is slow as fuck, the food tastes like garbage, and the place is run by children. It's just terrible. That said, though, like, come on, girl, he actually never implied the anime thing was actually something wrong with the community. He was simply bringing up the type of avatar slideshow commentators use, and he put more emphasis on the avatar thing, implying he may not like anime or could have some sort of distaste towards anime avatars, but he never actually used it as some sort of real issue with the community. Jumping to conclusions, much guru. Also nitpick here, the phrase so-called is generally used to imply that a name or term used prior to saying so-called is inappropriate. But commentators generally stand by the idea that we are slideshow commentators. Of course, that's usually in the context of what type of commentary community we're in, but still, that feels kinda weird.
Now if that already hasn't made your penis go completely flaccid, the fact that all these videos are structured the exact same way certainly will. Now I have no problem with people using the same structure for their videos. I've done it in the past with a few videos, but to have an entire community do it is just the worst.
So, wait a second. You implied that people having similarly structured commentaries is bad. Then you state that you yourself don't think it's bad. Then you state that it is bad. Ignoring the fact that this is contradictory as all hell and reeks of doublethink, I can say the same sort of thing about how you make rant videos in much the same vein as Leafy, in the sense that you just parse your thoughts over video game footage that has absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Somehow my head just does not have the heart to tell you fucked this point up so badly, like, damn girl, what the fuck? To overlook Kainu in his complaint in this part of the video, it was that he doesn't at all appreciate how every commentary is pretty much structured the same way. While you claim he stated that he also states how he's somehow okay with it despite not being okay, this just proves you're watching the same video as me, but listening to the audio in German with only a semester of knowledge from it. Du bist idiot! But yeah, as I said, by Kainu's wording, it's a problem that commentators all have the same style, so really, if we're going by his logic, then if I make a review of a video game in the same stylistic structure as let's say Barlog's Nintendo game reviews, with his unique scoring system that involves check marks, then he wouldn't mind because I'm one guy taking from one other guy. In the slideshow commentary community's case, we're all a bunch of people with literally the same setup to our videos. Also, by the way, Guru, nice job not letting the dude finish. By structure, he didn't mean the style of the video as in commentators using pictures, or his style with the gameplay. Structure, as he put it, was how things were done in the video, as in how most commentators involve an intro skit, intro card, context, rest of the video plus final thoughts, as in a structure. He goes over this literally right after you tell him his video structure is similar to Leafy's, making this tangential bullshit pretty much pointless, you know.
Here's the average slideshow commentary, piece by piece. Minute or two long skit.
Hey, MTR, you had fun on your birthday?
Yeah, I did. Why did you ask?
Well, I was planning on ruining it when I realized that this video existed.
20-second or above intro. Thankfully, some have realized that intro should be short recently, so take this one with a grain of salt. Them talking about what caused them to make the video or the user behind the video, clip of the video, them talking, repeat this 10 to 1,000 fucking times, final thoughts, end.
Alright, there's several things wrong here. First of all, the complaint about the number of interjections needs expansion. I would agree with that if only you weren't so vague. What are you referring to? People who interject after every sentence? People who have sparse periods of time between interjections? Longer commentaries in which a greater number of interjections is a necessity? I find it hard to see this complaint as constructive and meaningful since you failed to clarify what you meant by this.
Or maybe he was just trying to say that part of the videos when commentators talk over the actual video and use a little hyperbole. Cause I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing, not actually implying this was a problem.
Second of all, you're complaining about intros that are over 20 seconds long? You've got to be the most impatient person on the fucking planet if you can't say the intros that short. Also, intros should be short? I thought we got the point across 6 or so years ago that imposing subjective standards on the CC is unviable. Just refer to the specific incidents I mentioned in my introductory thoughts if you want more information about it. There's a lot of truth to that famous condemnation to repeat history quote from Santagana, you know. It's not so much about the length of the intro thoughts, it's more about how quickly they get to the point, the main thesis if you will. From my experience in English classes, the intro paragraph should state the main thesis of work in a concise manner, but there are no set definitions for how short those paragraphs should be. It's just a matter of how long that paragraph really needs to be. Do you see the difference here? The same thing applies to commentaries, except in an audiovisual format as opposed to a textual format. Therefore, your complaint is simply nonsensical.
So I'm confused. I thought we were talking about intro cards just a second ago. Did you forget to use some sort of transition sentence to give away that we're no longer in that territory? Or did you just start talking about intro context or something like that? You know, in both cases, though, I'm afraid to say English class is fucking useless. Gasp, gasp. See, if this was about opening statements, then when it comes to commentaries, there tends to be a level system of this is okay and this is too much fucking information. It doesn't work the same way as when you're writing a thesis statement. If you're misunderstanding this whole deal and comparing an essay introduction to an intro card, then, like, what? It's sad because despite all my cards lining up on you having probably intended to do that, I won't believe it because that's actually fucking stupid. An intro card has the potential to drag out no matter how well done it may be, reminder.
Third of all, people only include intro skits because they want to entertain people before the video gets into the real meat and potatoes. Think of it as the appetizer before the main course. Plus, some commentators also have ongoing stories and or lore surrounding their commentaries. Commentaries are primarily made to entertain others, and so it makes sense that commentators would insert intro skits in order to get some entertainment value out of it. Whether or not you enjoy it is simply a matter of taste and thus is very subjective in and of itself.
Wow, we're actually doing this. Somehow, you seem to really not pick up on exactly why Kainu had been complaining about all of this at all. Did you miss the fact that he was simply explaining its structure and only every now and then offhandedly admitting a distaste for a few of them? For the intro card thing, you complaining at him worked because he at least admitted a distaste for how long they tended to be. With the intro skit thing, he only brought up an annoyance towards the comedy MTR's intro skit in his co-op with Slayer. With that in mind though, he never really said that intro skits inherently were bad, super, anything that could inherently warrant you going on this 25-second tangent, you fucking brony.
Alongside the similar format, another similarity is the presentation. Still images over a background. This is almost every slideshow commentary. My problem isn't the overuse of the style, even though that is kind of a fucking issue. My problem is that the style as a whole is almost never interesting to look at. I find it hilarious how when commentators decide to branch out, they get literally nowhere because their editing knowledge consists of dropping a JPEG from Google Images into a single track in Vegas. Say what you want about the gameplay commentary style, but I make an attempt to make the videos visually appealing.
Even though literally all you're doing is dropping still images onto a single track of gameplay footage using whatever software you use.
Let him finish.
I color correct the gameplay, I add in visual jokes, and I show the things that I'm reading off of on screen. This, with my personal experience of editing both types of videos, is far more effort and way more visually appealing than downloading a video and changing an image every sentence on it.
You know, Guru, I have this gut feeling that the hypocrisy you're trying to accuse Sino of is actually invalid because, I mean, one, if we're going by both of your logic that any other track that isn't in use the whole video, then he's just in one track. Get it right. But in truth, he did go on that little tangent about exactly what he does basically a second later that maybe you should have cut.
This brings you to the absolute condescension I've just witnessed from you. I try to make my videos visually appealing, unlike slideshow commentators. No good commentator I know of would ever intentionally be lazy with their content. If anything, we call out videos for not being visually appealing all the bloody time. In fact, this is stuff we pointed out since the very earliest days of the CC as a whole. This condescending attitude of yours is completely unwarranted, especially since you misunderstand what most commentators are all about, and you are just as guilty of being quote-unquote lazy when it comes to video production. Kiss my ass.
Why? Did you just go on a tangent about commentators famously not being lazy when he never actually said commentators were being lazy with their editing, just stupid with their editing? There's a difference, Guru, please.
Funnily enough, I've actually meshed this style of video together with my current style before, with the response to Fox Goodman video, but here's the thing. I made sure to only include points that I thought really needed to be in the video, and I was talking about the user himself as well. This is what slideshow commentators don't do.
And here you go again with your, it's okay when I do it because I put effort into it, unlike those losers in the slideshow CC.
Never do this again in my presence.
Bullshit. Seriously, you have no room to talk about any of this, considering that people in the CC do the same things you do. Now yes, there are some who don't do these things, but they are by far the exception and not the rule when it comes to this. And you should really know this since you apparently have prior experience in the CC. So far, this video has less been about criticizing the CC and more about jerking yourself off with how much better you are than the CC, even though there are members who are just as good as or even better than you. Get over yourself.
Okay, so, Space Guru. Freundin, you've gotta be kidding me. Yeah, Guru, I strongly disagree with that statement. Yes, he's pointing out issues with the commentary community and then pointing back to himself, but I wouldn't say that means he's trying to jerk himself off in a sense where he's spending most of the video clamoring on about how he's much better than the commentary community. That actually probably most definitely likely means he's just pointing out how he does things differently from commentators as a way to establish to his audience how far off and backwards he thinks the slideshow commentary community is. Well, nice going, Guru. And look, I get that commentators do in turn cut out unnecessary stuff when it comes to it, but considering how Sino states after that,
They are on fucking CinemaSins levels of absolutely nitpicking a video.
really it can be implied that he probably meant that commentators don't skip what he finds unnecessary, instead nitpick every last detail of the video. You know, should've let him finish, Guru.
They are on fucking CinemaSins levels of absolutely nitpicking a video. No wonder the videos are fucking 15 minutes to an hour long, because they don't cut the unnecessary shit.
Even though skip cards exist in plenty of commentaries, including this one, but okay.
Yes, because skip cards automatically mean we commentators don't in fact nitpick small details because we have the potential to skip over them. I can't believe somebody actually wrote this into a script. To run this down for you, Guru, just because skip cards exist doesn't mean they're going to automatically be used for skipping over things Saidu finds unnecessary. Sometimes a commentator may find a small thing they could nitpick, but choose to skip over it, but I mean that doesn't automatically mean skip cards inherently mean no nitpicks exist in these videos.
A common counter-argument against one-shots or just commentaries as a whole being unnecessary is entertainment value. We're still making enjoyable and entertaining content, so it's completely fine. This is entertaining?
Yes, it is. Just because you don't find it entertaining doesn't mean others can't or won't find it entertaining. Sawed off with that douchey laughter of yours, or I swear to God I'll kick you into the sun. Also, you made this content yourself by your own admission, so don't even start with this.
Overall, your point is stupid, but I've been sitting here for 12 hours trying to figure out how to debunk it, so, you know, I'm just gonna argue the last thing. Yes, of course, Guru. At one point, he made commentators. Like, this point is actually all levels of fucking dumb. For one, your point actually feels pretty far removed from anything. That being said, if your argument is supposed to be that because Sino would have had to have found commentators entertaining to make them, one, this point is actually downright R-worded, because commentators can still be commentators without finding them entertaining, bitch, here I am. Two, are you fucking stupid, Guru? Yes, at one point, I guess, maybe, potentially, could have been a chance that Sino found these videos entertaining. Because he made them, of course, this automatically means he finds these videos entertaining. Look, I'm not letting that fucking go. But, question, what year is it? Well, whatever year it is, it's probably been plenty of years for Sino to just up and, change his opinion and stuff. Like, Guru, where did that brain of yours go? Because, yeah, opinions can change. Sino can turn around and think, man, these were entertaining? Do I even have to point out how not even 5 years ago, I was strongly against gays, lesbians, and trans people, yet now I'm in full support of them. I have friends of all colors of the rainbow, am admittedly bi, have a trans boyfriend. We could be here all day, Guru. What I'm saying is that this is just so blatantly backwards. I'm so baffled by how you actually use this argument.
One last thing before I close this video off, there are some groups who will just let fucking anyone in. Doesn't that just go against the point of a group by letting in anyone? A group is supposed to be like a VIP type of thing, like the Third Reich. But there's shit like the Cloud Palace with fucking 50 members. Hey, maybe I'm wrong and all 50 members are gonna be used in fucking Cloud Palace Infinity War. I swear to God, this is the reason why X died.
Bitch, please. The Cloud Palace only has a considerable number of members because plenty of people wanted to join the group. So, how is this an issue? You just come off as someone who is jealous that they couldn't get into a group or is jealous of a group's success.
Previously on Lunatic Commentaries, I established that the phrase coming off as is a phrase meant to mean the implications a person has let off with their words. In other news, I'm confused. How would he ever be coming off as feeling jealous about a group's success? That sounds kind of like the opposite of the implications he's left, you know? Also, I want to argue Sino real quick. Really, the fact that a commentary group has so many members must automatically mean we let in anyone. Nope, it's not like somebody can just have that many friends and connections. They just let anyone in. Okay, I guess.
Also, you can go fuck yourself with your forced Nazi joke. Shame on you for comparing anything like this to a regime of fascism, anti-Semitism, mass repression, and genocide. But it's okay, it's just a joke. No. Just because it's a joke doesn't mean it's fucking funny.
You know, considering you're the one who constantly wrote off a majority of Sino's complaints with "that's a you" thing, I'm kind of wondering how exactly I can turn this obvious double standards into a joke right now. Yeah, I know what Guru said. I'm a big history nerd, and I know my Germany. And I know that the Nazi Germany era, in time, was a horrific one of suffering and pain, yada yada, but on Guru's end, he fails in a few places to actually explain why we should care. It's not even like it was a joke made at the expense of anyone who suffered under them either. Also, Guru, you say he compared the Cloud Palace to the Third Reich. Bitch, where? Sino was clearly, obviously saying that commentary groups are supposed to be a group of friendship and camaraderie like the Third Reich, not the Cloud Palace. And honestly, why would he compare the Cloud Palace to the Third Reich? The Cloud Palace is obviously the USSR. Baka baka baka. With that being said, the rest of the video is final thoughts, and honestly, I don't really care much for them, so I'm gonna go ahead and do mine to wrap this video up. This is actually, like, my least favorite commentary of the year. Yeah, even worse than the Foster Tribe with Undead Meowth and Flamingo Citrus. You know, the one filled with condescension, deflection of criticism, poorly thought out counter arguments. Yeah, I just realized exactly why I put this one above that one. To be bluntly harsh, but fair, this video is just pathetic. Can I just start off by acknowledging some things I didn't actually spend time putting out in my own video, like you constantly arguing against Sino's points with an argument that could pretty much be boiled down to, well, that's a you thing, ignoring how this doesn't actually mean anything in the long run, as Sino's him thing still kind of exists, or constantly alluding to other commentators doing things Sino says commentators don't do, but then just leaving the point out to dry like my now disowned father Crimson Knight did to me, and so I'm left all out in the rain wondering whether or not these people in turn existed or now. But you know, what this video has that the Foster video didn't? This. Overwhelming, just downright annoying levels of fucking bias. Like, overlooking this video, it feels like you did this video to white knight the commentary community against Sino. Basically, my best advice is to lose that bias. I saw it here, I saw it in your video about toxicity in the CC, it's kind of seeming like a problem every now and again. I also recommended you maybe waiting a little before you throwing your videos out there. Like, not even joking, in the description of his video, Guru has a section dedicated to how long it took him to work on the video, and he uploaded the video a mere day after he finished the script. I mean, I don't mind that when it comes to certain videos. We both did that with our Wandering Kirito video to nice results, but I'd say that was more of a result of the video being only like something like 3 points. Like, waiting a little here would give you some time to think about your arguments a little more. Like, plus, try and consider the other side's arguments. You failing to do so has kind of been a problem in a few of your recent videos. That's really all I gotta say. So with that, I'm signing off. I'm going back to geometry. Maybe if I beat Duel in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel, I could prove that I'm blacker than he is without having to resort to him punching my dick off. Well, bye guys!
it.